I would like to formally declare that I blame my entire bloodline for the stupidity that led me here. First, my brother, because he cried. Second, myself, because I folded like wet paper. Third, fate, because it's rude. When I climbed into the carriage meant to take my brother to his doom, I genuinely believed I was doing something noble. Now, I realize I'm just stupid. Great, I muttered to myself as I pulled his cloak tighter around me, tucking away the stolen papers into my sleeve. I'm volunteering for death. Someone give me a medal made of poor decisions. The horses neighed in a way that sounded like they agreed. My brother's identification papers, which literally labeled him as disposable omega offering, felt like they were burning the inside of my pocket. Perfect. Love that for me. You'll be fine, I whispered to myself, because lies are comforting. Just get to the Alpha General, hand him the papers, and hope he's too busy being warlike to notice you're not your brother. Except I've met our Alpha General once from a distance. Big, broad, golden eyes like someone dipped a sword in sunlight. Rumors said he could tear a tree in half with his bare hands. Rumors also said he never smiled, didn't blink, and possibly ate his enemies raw. Yes, that man, General Draven Chiron. And here I was, pretending to be sacrificial meat. I looked out the tiny carriage window. Forest, forest, more forest. My panic level rose with every tree. They probably won't kill you immediately, I soothed myself. Maybe they'll kill you after tea or whatever soldiers drink. Mud? Blood? Protein shakes? The carriage hit a rock and my head slammed against the wooden wall. I hissed. Ow! Yes. Perfect. Let's add trauma. And then I felt it. The heavy shift in the air, the faint rumble of voices outside, the quiet thump of disciplined marching. Camp. My funeral destination had arrived. I pressed my hand to my chest, thinking maybe I'd find courage there. Nope. Just ribs. Useless. The carriage halted. My stomach dropped. I inhaled shakily, slapped my cheeks lightly to summon bravery, and prepared for the performance of a lifetime. Brother, wherever you are hiding safely at home, you owe me several pastries and a monument. The carriage doors burst open so violently I shrieked like a startled pigeon. 2 soldiers stared in, jaws clenched, eyes assessing me like I was a sack of potatoes they hadn't ordered. One grabbed my arm, hard. Gentle hands, I snapped, because death or not, I had dignity. I'm fragile, but not that fragile. They paused, looked at me, looked at each other. Confusion dawned on their faces like they'd discovered their sacrificial offering had an attitude problem. The taller soldier muttered, Is he supposed to talk? The other shrugged. Paper says omega, so maybe. Wow. Deep analysis from 2 men who probably list breathing as their greatest achievement. Move, tall soldier said, tugging me out. I stumbled out of the carriage, straightened my cloak dramatically like I was offended, and walked with as much false pride as I could manage. Fake it till you die, Ray. That's the spirit. The camp was massive. Rows of tents, crackling fires, soldiers drilling with heavy weapons, the metallic scent of steel everywhere. My heart thrashed violently against my ribs. Instinct screamed run. But running wasn't an option unless I magically developed wings. Where's General Draven? I asked. Take me to the boss man. Both soldiers stared again. What? Do I need to draw you a map or... We're taking you to him, the shorter one grunted. Quiet down. Quiet? Absolutely not. But I shut up anyway because I could smell the alpha pheromones in the air. Thick, sharp, commanding. It made the fine hairs on my arms rise. We stopped before the largest tent, easily twice the size of any home in my village. The guard outside stepped aside, eyes narrowing as he looked me over like I was a weirdly shaped vegetable. The soldiers shoved me forward. I stumbled, caught myself, and hissed, Rude! I hope all your socks are always slightly damp. And then I stepped inside. That was my first mistake. My second was making eye contact. General Draven did not look like someone who led armies. He looked like someone sculpted by a bored god who wanted to show off. Tall, So tall I felt like a paperclip beside him, shoulders broad enough to block the sun, hair black like midnight, jaw sharp enough to slice bread, and his eyes honey-like, warm, dangerous. He leaned against a table covered in maps, but the moment I entered, his head lifted sharply, like he sensed me. Then he inhaled, deeply. My throat closed. His gaze pinned me to the ground, tracking me with terrifying precision. Like he was reading everything about me. Lies, fear, stupidity, questionable life choices. I tried a smile. It felt like a grimace. He stepped forward slowly, each footfall steady, controlled, predatory. His voice, when he spoke, was quiet thunder. "You're not the one they meant to send." My heart stopped. "But," he continued, walking closer, gaze locked on mine with a softness that made my knees weak, "you're the one I want." "Wait. Hold up. What?" I blinked. Twice. Maybe 3 times. Because what was that supposed to mean? Why did my stomach flip? Why were my legs suddenly convinced they didn't need bones? I said intelligently. "What?" He chuckled softly. Softly, like he didn't want to scare me. A terrifyingly attractive man trying not to be intimidating is somehow more intimidating. His fingers brushed mine when he took the papers from my hand, and a shock ran through me. Not literal lightning, but it might as well have been. He glanced at the papers once, then tossed them carelessly onto the table like he already knew they were fake. Then he stepped even closer. Too close, I could smell him. Warm cedar. Smoke. Something deeper, darker, addictive. His voice lowered. "Tell me your name." My brain short-circuited. "Ray." He smiled faintly. Too faintly. Wolves probably smiled like that before eating you. "Ray," he repeated, tasting it. "A good name." My cheeks went hot. Stupid cheeks. I cleared my throat and attempted to regain control of my life. Spoiler. Failed. "Look," I said, hands up defensively. "I'm delicate, not stupid. You can let me go now." Draven stepped forward. I stepped back. Bad idea. He followed. I stepped back again. He followed again. "I mean it," I continued, voice squeaking a little. "You've smelled me, inspected me, done whatever that intense staring thing was, so we're done. Release me into the wild." Draven's eyes softened. "Ray," he murmured, "you think I'll let you walk out of my sight? After fate handed you to me?" My lungs forgot how to function. "It didn't," I blurted. "Fate didn't hand anything. Fate tripped and dropped me here by accident." He laughed. The deep, warm sound slid down my spine like honey. He took my chin gently between his fingers and tilted my face up. "I felt your scent," he said softly, "even before you entered the tent." My heart tried to climb up my throat to escape. "It calls to me," he whispered. "Can it not?" I wheezed. "It's embarrassing." His thumb brushed my cheekbone with devastating tenderness. He leaned in, lips near my ear. "You're terrified," he murmured, "but still standing, still looking me in the eyes." He exhaled, slow and warm. "You're brave, Ray. Braver than the one they meant to send." My breath hitched. "No one," he whispered, "takes your place now." My blood froze. "What does that mean?" I whispered. He smiled gently, dangerously. "It means," Draven said, "you're mine to protect now." My knees forgot their entire purpose. I wake up to the sound of metal clanking and someone yelling something about formations and discipline, which is already hilarious, because I have neither. If I were a formation, I'd be a squiggly line having a mental breakdown. My stomach growls like it's auditioning for the role of starving wolf, so I stumble toward what looks like the camp mess tent. And then the smell hits me. Burned protein, sad vegetables, regret. "Wow," I mutter loud enough for several soldiers to hear. "Military food. I suddenly miss suffering at home." Forks pause midair. A few soldiers blink at me, like they're trying to figure out if I'm joking, suicidal, or both. Spoiler, yes. One soldier leans over to another and whispers, "Is he allowed to talk like that?" I grin at them. No, absolutely not. I'm just naturally disappointing. They stare harder. I shovel a spoonful of something into my mouth. It tastes like boiled discipline, with hints of pain. I cough. Perfect. Exactly what I needed to remind me that my life choices have led me here. There's a sudden hush around me and I feel a gaze, heavy, hot, pinning me down like a hand on my throat. Draven, General Hot and Deadly himself. I don't even have to look to know he's standing behind me. His presence is like a pressure system that demands attention. It seems, he murmurs, because of course he murmurs like he's reading the line of a romance novel. The offering has opinions. Offering. Right. That thing I'm absolutely not. I shoot him a smile that could power a petty sun. Just stating facts, General. I like my meals identifiable. A couple soldiers choke on their food. Draven steps closer, and the warmth of him presses along my spine. Eat, he commands softly. You'll need your strength. I swallow hard. Not the food. My sanity. Because him saying you'll need your strength in that low tone? Nope. Illegal. Absolutely illegal. I decide to take another bite purely so I don't embarrass myself by spontaneously combusting. After breakfast, if we're being generous and calling it that, Draven gestures for me to follow. You know, like a dramatic wolf king summoning his confused houseplant. His tent is warm, quiet, and smells faintly of spice and steel. I hover near the entrance like a stray cat unsure if the human is safe. Draven sits, studying me like I'm either a puzzle or a trap. Maybe both. Ray, he says, the Omega offering was trained in court etiquette. Recite the bowing protocols for a general. Oh, he's testing me. Perfect. I cough politely. Ah, yes, protocols. My absolute specialty. His eyes narrow, amused. Time to lie. Badly. Okay, so step 1, bend. Step 2, try not to fall. Step 3, hope you survive. Draven's mouth twitches. Incorrect. You sure? I ask, leaning forward. Because that's how I bow to literally everyone. He tilts his head. The offering was also taught the lineage of the royal houses. Recite the crest of House Theron. I shrug. Bird or lion or angry vegetable. One of those. An angry vegetable. He repeats it like he's trying not to laugh. I nod seriously. Very iconic house, honestly. Draven rises, slow and deliberate like a storm stretching. You dodge every question, he murmurs. Sorry, I say sweetly. My trauma bingo card is full. No more questions. A low sound vibrates through his chest. A laugh, warm and sharp at the edges. He steps closer, towering but not touching. Your mouth, he says, voice dipping dangerously, will get you into trouble with me, sweetheart. My brain short circuits. He called me sweetheart. Sir, that is a war crime. I force myself to breathe. My mouth causes trouble for everyone, don't take it personally. He takes one more step, close enough for his scent to brush over me like a slow stroke. Oh, Ray, he whispers. With me, it's always personal. He moves before I can retreat. Not rough. Not forceful. Just intent. One hand lifts to my throat, fingers brushing my skin lightly, like he's touching something fragile, precious. My breath stutters. And then he scents me. Not a deep, claiming scent, but a soft, deliberate drag of his nose along the curve where my scent gland lies hidden. I freeze so hard I might actually be dead. Heat blooms from my neck to my toes. No. No, no, no. This is bad. Very bad. This is fail a mission and die kind of bad. Draven inhales again. Slow, like he's memorizing me. His voice drops to a low, intimate whisper that slides down my spine like a caress. Your scent doesn't fear me. he says. It reaches for me. Excuse me? Reaches? No, it does not, I sputter, stepping back so fast I almost fall over. Tell it to stop reaching. It's embarrassing. I don't consent to my scent being clingy. His eyes darken with something warm, possessive, dangerous. One thing you should know, Ray, he murmurs. Scents don't lie. Mine does, I shout automatically. I bribed it. Draven laughs. And oh God, it's a beautiful sound. Deep, rich, like he rarely uses it. I hate that it makes my chest warm. He steps forward and I back up until my knees hit his table. Your scent reacts to me, he says softly. It opens. It invites. Okay, rude. My scent is a hussy without my approval. Your scent wants me, he finishes, voice thick. I squeak. Actually squeak. That is slander, I whisper. He leans down slightly, his breath warm against my cheek. It's truth. I am going to die. Not from danger, from romance. I clear my throat, straighten my spine, and channel every ounce of bravery I possess, which is like 3 ounces. General, I say. I would like to be released. Immediately. Preferably yesterday. Draven studies me with a calm that scares me more than anger would. And go where? He asks quietly. Back to a kingdom that sent you here to die? I blink. Hard. Okay. Wow. Didn't need that truth bomb before lunch. He steps close again, slower this time, giving me room to refuse, like he knows I won't. Tell me the real reason you're here, he murmurs. I swallow. Nope. He's not getting that, so I shrug dramatically. I got bored. Thought, why not spice up my life with danger, questionable soup, and possible death? Draven actually smiles, a real one, and it's beautiful, ruinously beautiful. He lifts a hand, just enough to hover near my cheek, not touching, almost asking. Ray, he says, voice low, even if the whole kingdom comes for you. His fingers finally touch my chin, lifting it gently. I'd still hold you here. There it is, the romantic kidnapping line of doom. Sir, I manage, that is kidnapping with extra romance. His thumb brushes my jaw. Then consider it devotion with no escape. My heart does a somersault. My brain screams. My scent apparently throws confetti. I don't want to die, I whisper before I can stop myself. His expression softens, but his eyes burn. I won't let anyone touch you, he says. Not fate, not your kingdom, not even your fear. I swallow hard. You say that like you actually want me. Draven leans in, his forehead nearly touching mine. I don't want you, he whispers. My stomach drops. Then he adds, I crave you. My entire soul malfunctions. Craving is unhealthy. You should hydrate. He laughs again. Low, warm, dangerous. Stay, Ray. I shouldn't. Stay, he repeats, voice deep, soft, irresistible. I'm not letting you go. My pulse hammers, and somewhere deep inside, for one terrifying second, I don't want him to. There are 2 types of people in this world. 1, people who follow orders. 2, me, who hears an order and immediately gets the uncontrollable urge to do the exact opposite, just to see what happens. So when Draven told me, very sternly, very seriously, in that deep voice that made my knees consider defection, stay inside the tent. Of course I wandered out the moment he turned around. Look, it wasn't rebellion, it was curiosity. Also, boredom, and possibly ADHD. I end up near the training grounds where soldiers are swinging swords, sweating, and being unnecessarily dramatic with their grunting. Honestly, they sound like someone dropped a large table repeatedly. One soldier spots me and immediately panics. The offering has escaped. Relax, I say, hands up like I'm surrendering to stupidity. I'm not running away. I'm investigating grass. The soldier blinks. Grass? Yes, these green things? They live complex lives, very mysterious. He opens his mouth, closes it, then sprints away to report my existence to someone higher up. Fantastic. I crouch down, poking a blade of grass like it's a rare specimen, truly committing to the bit. That's when a shadow falls over me. Not a normal shadow, a large, warm, possibly judgmental one. I don't even have to look. General Hot and Deadly, I say, still crouched. Fancy seeing you here. Investigating grass as well? Draven's voice comes down like velvet-wrapped steel. Ray. I glance up. He looks like a god sculpted out of sunlight and war crimes. Terrific. He crosses his arms. I told you to stay in the tent. I recall that, I say, still poking grass. But you said nothing about investigating local vegetation. Very loophole-friendly instructions. He sighs, long and slow, the sound of a man contemplating the meaning of life and also homicide. Stand, he orders. I stand, reluctantly, like a cat being told to get off the counter. He steps closer. Stay where I can see you, Ray. My stomach does a traitorous little flip. I'm not a toddler, I mutter. I don't need supervision. You wander like one, he replies. Rude but fair. His eyes soften. Not much, just enough that I catch it. Don't disappear on me, he says quietly. For 1 second, just one, that soft tone wraps around my chest like a tether, a dangerous one. I shrug it off. Kind of. Maybe. Fine, I say. But I swear, if you lose sight of me, that's on your 6-foot-something legs, not my short survival instincts. He huffs a laugh. But he still places a hand on my back as we walk, guiding me gently, and my entire spine lights up like someone plugged me into an emotion socket. Draven leaves to yell at someone, hotly, and since I apparently can't sit still, I wander again. Just a little. Only like 20 yards. I end up near the medical tent where soldiers come and go with minor cuts, sprains, bruises, various injuries probably caused by excessive testosterone. Inside, a medic looks swamped, so I step in. Need help? I ask. He looks up, sees me, and goes pale. You shouldn't. General Draven will. Relax, I say, rolling up my sleeves. I'm good at pretending I know things. I grab some bandages. He looks like he wants to object, but 3 more injured soldiers enter, and he gives up on trying to stop the chaos that is me. Turns out I actually am good at this. My mother had forced all of us to learn basic medical treatment. Something about alphas are dramatic and omegas faint a lot. So I start treating cuts, cleaning wounds, wrapping bandages. A soldier says, "You sure you're an offering?" "Yep," I say cheerfully. "Disposable and everything." The medic snorts. "You're surprisingly competent," he mutters. I preen. Thank you. I contain multitudes, mostly anxiety. A warm presence appears behind me. Of course, Draven, watching, silently, hotly. "You're full of surprises," he says, voice low, appreciative in a way that makes my insides go warm and confused. I slap a bandage on a soldier a bit too aggressively. Yes, well, I also cry in stressful situations and run from commitment. Truly a bargain. Draven steps closer, eyes fixed on my hands. "You know how to treat battlefield wounds." I shrug. Family tradition. Some teach cooking, some teach embroidery. Mine taught emergency first aid and sarcasm. He reaches out slowly, brushing a bit of drying blood off my wrist with his thumb. "You're more capable than the kingdom told us." My breath stutters. He continues, soft but burning. "They underestimated you." I laugh awkwardly. "That's my specialty. Being underestimated, it's like a hobby." His eyes lock onto mine. "It shouldn't be." And wow, that was unnecessarily sweet. I hate how much I like it. By midday, I'm running on 2 hours of sleep, 10 hours of panic, and 1 metric ton of emotional chaos. So naturally, my body decides, time to collapse. The world tilts. Someone shouts, and suddenly strong arms catch me before I hit the ground. I blink up blearily. Draven's face hovers over mine. Oh no, not this. Not strong arms of intense eye contact. I was not emotionally prepared. Ray, he says, voice tight, you should have told me you were exhausted. I wasn't exhausted, I mumble. I was just horizontally challenged suddenly. He doesn't laugh. He looks worried, like actually worried. Then, without asking, he lifts me up, like a princess. I flail immediately. Put me down! I'm light but not luggage. His grip tightens. You fit perfectly in my arms, he murmurs. Why would I put you down? Sir. That is too much. I bury my face in his shoulder to hide the fact that my entire soul is overheating. Draven, I complain weakly. People are staring. Let them. That's worse. Good, he says, voice rumbling against my cheek. They should know you're under my care. I am not property. No, he agrees softly. You're precious. Well, I die. Right there. Instant emotional death. He carries me to his tent and sets me on the bed like I'm made of spun sugar and poor decisions. Rest, he orders, brushing hair from my forehead. You can't just force nap on me, I argue. He sits on the edge of the bed, his hand resting over mine. You nearly collapsed, he says quietly. I won't let that happen again. Oh great, now he's speaking in soft, protective alpha mode, my kryptonite. I'm fine, I mutter. You're tired, he counters. I'm always tired. It's my personality. He actually smiles, the audacity. I try to sit up, and he gently pushes me back down with 2 fingers. Sleep, he murmurs. I'll be right here. My chest does an uncomfortable warm thing. I don't need a guard, I whisper. You're not getting a guard, he murmurs. You're getting me. Welp, good night to my sanity. I fall asleep despite myself. I wake up to dim candlelight and the soft sound of pages turning. Draven sits near the bed, reading, watching over me. I groan. Are you seriously sitting there like some dramatic guardian angel? His eyes lift. Did you sleep well? I slept because you kidnapped me into unconsciousness. He chuckles softly. You needed rest. And you needed boundaries. He closes the book and moves closer, sitting on the edge of the bed. Ray. His voice is so gentle I almost don't recognize it. I meant what I said earlier. Which part? I ask. The part where you carried me like a sack of flour, or the part where you claimed I fit perfectly in your arms? The part, he murmurs, where I said I'll keep you safe. I snort. Bold of you to assume I trust tall, handsome men. His lips twitch. You think I'm handsome? I said tall first, I correct quickly. Don't twist my words. He reaches out, thumb brushing softly along my cheek. My entire body stills. He's gentle in a way that should not be allowed from a terrifying general. You don't have to trust me yet, he whispers, voice low, warm, patient. But you're safe here. He pauses. With me. And something in my chest tightens painfully. I force a shaky breath. Why do you say things like that? I whisper. Like you mean them. His eyes soften in a way that makes my heart misbehave. Because I do. Oh no, oh hell, I look away. I'm not good at this. At what? He asks softly. People caring. Draven leans closer, just a breath away. Then let me teach you. A shiver races through me. Dangerous, unfair, beautiful. I whisper. I don't know if I can. You don't need to know, he murmurs. Just stay. My throat tightens. My heartbeat is a panicked, desperate drum. I can't stay forever, I whisper. His hand cups my jaw, warm and steady. Ray, I intend to give you every reason to. And just like that, I'm doomed. Completely, romantically doomed. There are many things in life I'm good at. Running my mouth, making bad decisions, pretending grass is interesting, passing out dramatically. One thing I am not good at? Lying. And today, unfortunately, is lying day. Because Draven has that look on his face. It's evening, the camp quiet except for the crackle of torches. He stands in front of me in his tent, arms folded, gaze sharp as a blade. "Ray," he says softly, which is worse than shouting. "Whose place did you take?" My entire soul does a backflip. "Place?" I squeak. "I take many places, emotionally, spiritually, in the talent hierarchy." "Ray," he says my name like a warning and a caress at the same time. I freeze. Draven steps forward slowly, every movement precise, controlled, terrifyingly calm. "You are not the Omega the kingdom was supposed to send," he says, "and you've known that I knew." Well, time for Ray's patented bad lying method TM. I confidently shrug. Of course I'm the offering. I have all the qualities, disposable, unstable, higher sassiness levels. His jaw clenches. "Ray." I raise a finger like a lecturer. "Also, I match the physical description. 2 arms, 2 legs, a face." He steps closer. Too close. My sarcasm meter is flickering like a dying candle. "Ray," I blurt. "Okay, fine, maybe I borrowed someone's place." "Borrowed?" he repeats. "Yes," I say, "temporarily, with no return policy." My heartbeat is so loud it could power a drum circle. "Whose place?" he asks again, voice low. "Did you take?" I open my mouth. A lie tries to come out. What actually comes out is, he sighs, long-suffering, rubbing the bridge of his nose. Then his eyes soften with something like concern. "Ray," he murmurs, "don't make me ask again. This man, this terrifying, handsome, gently voiced alpha man, why is he like this?" I deflate, like a sad balloon. "My brother," I whisper. His entire expression shifts, something sharp easing, something solemn rising. He steps even closer. "Tell me," he says quietly. And for once, I can't joke my way out of it. I sit down on the edge of his bed because my knees feel like wet noodles. Draven stays standing in front of me, close enough to feel, far enough not to trap. I stare at my hands. "My brother was the one chosen to be sacrificed," I start. "And I mean, the kingdom didn't phrase it like that, but let's be honest. Omega offering is just a polite way of saying, we gift you this breakable human, hope you don't kill us." Draven doesn't move, doesn't speak, just watches me with that dark, steady intensity that makes lying impossible. I swallow. "He's weak," I say. "Not in a pathetic way. He's just sickly, soft. He would have died the first time someone breathed aggressively in his direction." A deep breath shakes out of me. "I'm less weak." The words taste bitter. "I am the unwanted child whom everyone disposes of," I say matter-of-factly. "So here I am." There. I said it. I expect Draven to flinch, to pity, to judge. But his expression doesn't even crack. He's too controlled, too composed. It makes something inside me burn. "I wasn't going to let them send him," I say quietly. "He cried when he was chosen. He shook. He said goodbye to me like he was walking to his funeral." I swallow the memory down hard. "So I switched places." My fingers twist in the blanket beneath me. "I stole his documents, took his clothes, got into the carriage, and let them send me instead." A laugh slips out, short, sharp. "Heroic, right? Noble, right? Except nobody cares. The kingdom is probably thrilled I volunteered myself." I force a grin. "So, yeah, ta-da, that's the tragic backstory. You're welcome." Silence fills the tent. Torchlight flickers. Wind hums. My heart thumps painfully. Then, "Ray," Draven says softly, "look at me." I don't. So he kneels. An alpha general kneels. In front of me. My breath stops. He reaches up slowly and takes my trembling hands in his. "Look at me," he repeats, voice low and gentle. I finally do, and everything inside me cracks open. He lifts one hand and cups my jaw, carefully like he's afraid I'll break. His thumb brushes my cheekbone. You offered yourself in his place, he says quietly. That makes you braver than any soldier here. I stare at him, jaw loose. That's not... My voice breaks. That's not bravery. That's stupidity with extra steps. He shakes his head, thumb brushing again, grounding me. You protected someone weaker than you, he murmurs. You stepped into danger without hesitation. That doesn't make me brave, I whisper. Yes, he says, leaning closer, eyes burning. It does. The heat in his gaze is too much, too intense, too warm. It makes my chest ache in a way I hate. I'm not... I choke. I'm not worth that kind of... Draven's hand slides to the back of my neck, warm, steady, anchoring me. You are worth everything, he says. I stare at him. He stares back. And for the first time in a very, very, very long time, I feel seen, not judged, not dismissed, not unwanted. Seen. Me, Ray, the disposable one, the troublemaker, the one no one wanted, except Draven looks at me like I'm the most important thing in the world. It terrifies me. It comforts me. It wrecks me. I pull back slightly. Don't say things like that. Why? He asks softly. Because I'll believe them, I whisper. He inhales sharply. His grip tightens, and for a moment, just a breath, he rests his forehead against mine. You should, he says. You deserve to. My voice is barely a whisper. So, now what? I swallow hard. Are you going to punish me? His hand slides from my jaw to my cheek, warm and gentle. Punish you? He echoes. I nod. Lying, deception, unlicensed heroism. A low sound rumbles in his chest, half laugh, half groan of disbelief. Then he speaks. Punish you? He shakes his head slowly. No. His thumb strokes my cheek. Protect you, he murmurs. His eyes burn into mine. Every day for the rest of my life, if you'll let me. Oh no. No. That line should come with a health warning. My throat closes. That's illegal levels of romantic, I whisper. You can't just say things like that to someone with emotional damage. He smiles faintly. Then I'll say them until you believe me. I choke. Actually choke. He leans in closer, slow, careful, like he's afraid to frighten me. You gave up your freedom for your brother, he whispers. I give you my loyalty in return. My lungs stop functioning. Ray, he says softly, stay with me. Not because you have to, but because you choose to. I stare at him, every emotion I have fighting inside me. Fear, hope, longing, denial, ridiculous, catastrophic affection. I don't know what I'm choosing, I admit. His forehead touches mine again, gentle, grounding. Then choose me, he murmurs. I'll show you. And just like that, I'm undone, utterly, hopelessly undone. If hell had a smell, it would be whatever the soldiers were brewing in that cauldron they called a coffee pot. I walked into the camp kitchen with the optimism of someone who forgot the universe hates him. Which is me. Daily. A soldier proudly handed me a mug. Omegaverse, sir, we made this for you. I took one sip and saw my ancestors. Wow, I croaked, blinking back tears. This tastes like betrayal. The soldier blinked. Is it too strong? Too strong? I wheezed. Sweetheart, this is a war crime. You're brewing this like it's poison, and I drink poison daily. This is worse. Everyone in the kitchen froze. Another soldier bravely approached. How should it be made? Oh, I don't know. Maybe with actual coffee and not burnt dirt. Move aside. Watch a professional ruin his health voluntarily. They stepped away like I was some revered caffeine deity. Within minutes, I managed to make a pot that didn't smell like regret. A soldier took a sip and gasped. "Sir, this is amazing." "I know," I said. "I'm magical. Please applaud." They did. Actually clapped. This camp is emotionally unstable. Draven appeared at the entrance, arms crossed, watching me like I was performing witchcraft. His voice slid across the room like velvet dipped in threat. "You've been here 1 week," he murmured, "and my entire army listens to you more than they do to their own captain." I lifted my mug. "Well, if you brewed coffee that didn't try to kill people, maybe they'd respect you more." He stepped closer. "Or maybe they're drawn to you because even your complaints sound adorable." I choked on my drink. The soldiers pretended not to hear. They failed. You know what's suspicious? When a whole army treats you like a camp pet and you kind of enjoy it. I wasn't flirting, okay? I was being polite. Polite-ish. Sarcastically polite. You know, my version. I laughed at a joke one of the soldiers made, and suddenly the tent darkened like a thundercloud had entered. Draven stood behind me. He didn't say a word. He just existed intensely. The soldier saluted and bolted like he'd been chased by death incarnate. Then Draven grabbed my wrist and pulled me behind the supply tent. Not roughly, not harshly, just possessively, like I was something precious. "What?" I demanded. "Is it illegal to laugh now?" He leaned down, lowering his voice to that deep rumble that seems designed to ruin my heart rate. "Don't smile at them like that," he said quietly. "Only I get to see that." I stared, trying not to combust. "Sir," I said flatly, "this is just my face." "It shouldn't be," he murmured, stepping closer. "It's too captivating." I took a step back. "Okay, calm down, general romance novel. I was literally smiling at a joke about wet socks." He didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe. Then he said, "Soft, possessive. They shouldn't get pieces of you that belong to me." I opened my mouth, closed it, opened it again. "Sir, please, the flirting is strong today and I'm not emotionally equipped." He smirked. And, yeah, I ran, dignifiedly. Maybe. We'll never know. Rainstorms and I have beef. They always arrive when I'm doing something like walking normally, and then boom. Ray hits the ground like a tragic Disney orphan. This time, the ground was extra slippery. One step, another, then betrayal. My foot slid on mud, my dignity flew away, and I prepared to be one with the earth. Except, strong arms caught me mid-fall, lifting me as if I weighed nothing. I blinked up. Of course it was Draven. Why wouldn't it be? My personal menace. He held me bridal style. "Hi," I said weakly. "I swear I'm not doing this on purpose." His arms tightened just slightly. "Fall 1,000 times," he murmured, voice low and warm at my ear. "I'll catch you, everyone." I stared at him. He stared back. The rain dripped off his lashes, making him look annoyingly heroic. "Sir," I whispered, "that line was so romantic it should be illegal." He smiled, tiny, dangerous. "Then arrest me." I would have fainted, but he was already holding me and I refused to give him that satisfaction. "Put me down," I muttered. "People are staring, and I am not a decorative item." "You are," he said without hesitation. "Mine." I made a strangled noise. He carried me all the way back to camp. I did not protest again. You know that thing where your body betrays you? Mine is an expert. I didn't plan to fall asleep on the Alpha General, okay? It just happened, like taxes or humiliation. We were in a strategy meeting, boring, dry, numbers, maps, war, yawn. I sat beside Draven because he told me to, which is technically kidnapping, but with furniture. Somewhere between fortify the Western Ridge and supply logistics, my head started drooping. Then I blinked awake to find myself leaning on Draven's shoulder, like a cat with boundary issues, mortifying. I sat up instantly, ready to apologize and possibly fake my own death. But Draven's hand slid to the back of my head and gently pressed me right back down. "Stay," he murmured. I froze. "Sir," I whispered. "Stay," he repeated softer. "You're tired." His thumb brushed behind my ear, a soothing, slow stroke. "When you're here," he said, voice lowering so only I heard, "even war feels quiet. Quiet. Because of me. Me. The sarcastic disaster Omega who breathes anxiety and insults." I swallowed. I was unconscious, but thank you, I guess. He chuckled quietly. The whole room pretended not to see the terrifying Alpha General letting a tiny Omega use him as a pillow. Soldiers exchanged looks like, "Is this allowed? Are we dreaming? Has the apocalypse come?" But Draven didn't care. He kept his hand on my back, grounding and warm, like I was something worth holding. Eventually, I fell asleep again. And this time, I didn't fight it. If someone had told me that being a disposable offering would involve this much cardio, I would have stayed home and let fate chew me alive. But here I was, standing in the middle of a battlefield, trembling while the earth shook from incoming explosives. The sky went black with smoke. Soldiers yelled. Steel clashed. Wolves, actual wolves, ran through the chaos with riders on their backs like it was a medieval action movie. And me? I was 2 seconds from a panic attack, but refusing to show it. A soldier ran past me shouting, "Omega Ray, get into the shelter! Get!" "No," I yelled back. "I prefer the outside. It's where the air is. Also, I'm allergic to basements." Then something exploded 20 steps away. Okay, maybe a little basement wouldn't kill me. But before I could move, Draven appeared, like a storm given human form. His hands gripped my shoulders firmly, desperately. "Ray," he breathed, voice low with fear he didn't bother hiding. "Please, I can't fight if I'm scared you'll disappear." I stared at him, heart doing illegal gymnastics. "This is not a great time for emotional honesty," I snapped, trying to sound brave instead of terrified. "There are, fireballs." Draven's jaw tightened. "You matter to me more than the fire." "Sir, please. I'm in danger of swooning, and we're in a war." He tried to push me toward the shelter again. I dug my heels in. "Stop trying to tuck me away like a decorative vase." "You are far more precious than a vase," he said sharply. "And I am not risking you." A wolf ran past us howling. I pointed at it. "See? Even the wildlife agrees with me." Draven exhaled shakily, forehead pressing briefly to mine. "Ray, please." And just like that, my brain shut down. My mouth moved without my permission. "Fine, but only because you asked nicely." He looked startled, then soft. But I didn't actually go where he pushed me. Because of course I didn't. I'm Ray. Bad decisions are my aesthetic. The moment Draven turned his back, I sprinted the other way like a convicted criminal escaping jail. In my defense, people were screaming for help. And also in my defense, I am an idiot. The medical tent was half collapsed, so I ducked under the torn canvas and found wounded soldiers lying everywhere. "Okay, hi," I announced loudly. "I know this is a bad time, but people are dying weirdly, so let's get organized." Someone groaned. Another bled dramatically. I rolled up my sleeves like a wannabe hero. "If you're dying, please raise your hand. No? Okay, that's fair." I tore strips of cloth for bandages, applied pressure to wounds, shouted at people to keep breathing, and questioned every life choice that brought me here. A soldier blinked at me weakly. "Omega Ray, you're not supposed to be here." "I'm not supposed to be anywhere," I retorted. "My entire existence is a clerical error." Another explosion rattled the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling. I ignored it. A man with a head wound looked up groggily. "Shouldn't you be hiding?" "Shouldn't you be bleeding less?" I shot back. "We all have jobs." But as I tied the makeshift bandage tighter, panic slowly crawled up my spine. This was real. This was war. This wasn't one of Draven's protective lectures or one of my sarcastic meltdowns. People were dying. The smell of blood mixed with smoke in the air. My hands shook as I worked. Someone screamed outside. Another explosion boomed. I flinched but kept moving. "Ray!" I froze. Draven stormed into the tent, eyes wild. his scent rolling through the space like thunder. The soldiers went silent. Draven's voice cracked as he yelled, "What are you doing here?" I raised a bloody cloth. "Helping?" "Obviously." His face twisted. "You could have died." "Everyone here could have died," I argued. "I'm just supervising the process." Draven closed the distance in seconds, grabbing my wrist, gentler than his anger sounded. "Ray," he whispered, voice raw. "You can't do this, not alone." I opened my mouth to sass him. Then the tent collapsed around us. He shoved me to the ground and covered me with his body, shielding me from falling beams and scattering debris. His arms locked around me like steel, like he'd break himself before letting anything touch me. And that's when fear finally hit me. Not for myself. For him. Hours later, after the fighting died, after the smoke thinned, after the dead were carried away, I stood outside the ruins of the camp, frozen, numb. My hands were stained red. My clothes smelled like smoke and blood. My brain felt hollow. And then Draven found me. He didn't shout, he didn't scold. He just grabbed me and pulled me into him, arms crushing me against his chest like he was terrified I'd evaporate. His voice broke against my ear. "I don't want to lose you. Not now. Not ever." I blinked, stunned. General Draven, the terrifying, stoic alpha who everyone feared, was shaking, holding me like I was the last star left in his sky. I lifted my trembling hands and awkwardly patted his back. Hey, I don't plan to die. Too many people I still have to annoy." A choked breath left him, half laugh, half sob. "Ray," he murmured, cupping the back of my head, "you drive me insane." "I know," I sighed. "It's my gift." He pulled back enough to see my face. His thumb brushed my cheek, wiping away dirt, blood, tears. I wasn't sure which. "I thought I'd lost you," he whispered. "Me? Please. I cling to life like a cockroach." He didn't laugh this time. He just pressed his forehead to mine, breathing me in like my existence was the only thing keeping him steady. And maybe I needed that too. The air between us changed, thickened, warm, dangerous. His thumb traced my jaw, slow, reverent. His eyes darkened in a way that made my knees consider mutiny. He leaned down, voice as soft as falling ash. "Tell me to stop," he murmured, breath brushing my lips. "And I will." My heart tried to leave my body. His face was inches from mine, too close, too warm, too much. I swallowed. My throat felt locked. "Ray," he whispered, "just say it. I'll stop." I looked at his lips, looked at his eyes, looked at the man who had shielded me with his own body without a thought. "Don't stop," I breathed. His eyes flared, something fierce, something starving, something painfully tender. He leaned in. Lightning cracked across the sky, loud as a scream. We jerked apart instinctively. The moment shattered. Rain poured down in sudden sheets, drenching us instantly. Draven stared at me, chest rising and falling, rain dripping off his lashes like tears he never let fall. "We'll finish this," he whispered, "when the world isn't trying to destroy us." I nodded, heart pounding so hard it hurt. I wasn't sure if I wanted the world to stop, or keep delaying what might break me in an entirely different way. I woke up to shouting outside my tent, which is never a good sign. Shouting caused disaster, disaster caused me. So naturally I sat up immediately. A soldier burst in. "Omegaverse, you should come. Is it breakfast or death? Blink twice for breakfast." He didn't blink at all. "Cool," I muttered. "It's death. My favorite." I followed him outside, where Draven stood facing a messenger from the capital, one of those uptight, shiny-booted, law-obsessed officials who looked like they'd report you for breathing enthusiastically. The messenger held a scroll and an expression that screamed, "I enjoy ruining lives." He read dramatically, "By command of the Royal Council, The Omega offering must be returned immediately to the capital for proper execution, as originally decreed. Everyone turned to look at me. I waved. See? Told you my luck is cardio for the soul. The messenger sniffed. You will be escorted at once. Draven's entire aura went dark murder cloud. The soldiers subtly stepped away from him, as if personal survival was important. I sighed and crossed my arms. Proper execution? What does that even mean? Improper execution is… what? A messy beheading? The messenger didn't appreciate my comedic genius. Draven stepped forward, voice so cold it froze the air. He is not going anywhere. The messenger stiffened. General, this is a royal… Ray internal thoughts, TM. Oh, great. They're about to fight over me. Like I'm a very tired bakery pastry. I raised a hand. Hi. Small question. Why am I being invited to my own murder again? I didn't even RSVP. The messenger rolled his eyes. You know why. You took another Omega's place. An offense punishable by death. Right, I said dryly. Can't have people volunteering. Very dangerous precedent. Draven's voice dropped to a growl. Ray is under my protection. The messenger didn't back down, which honestly impressed me. Most people ran when Draven glared. You have no authority to keep him. He is kingdom property. I blinked. Wow. Property? I didn't even come with warranty. The messenger scowled. Prepare to leave. Oh no. Draven released a sound I'd never heard from a human before. Low, furious, primal. He moved in front of me like a shield of muscle and fury. The messenger faltered. The entire army froze. And I thought, great. I'm going to start a war by existing again. Draven didn't just refuse quietly. No. The man had to be dramatic. He dragged the messenger to the center of the camp, called the entire army over, then stepped onto a raised platform with me standing beside him like a confused decorative plant. Hundreds of soldiers lined up. The messenger tried again. General, this isn't necessary. Draven lifted a hand. Instant silence. Then he spoke, voice carrying like thunder. Let it be known, he declared, that Ray does not belong to the kingdom. My heart stopped, restarted, stuttered, then ran a marathon. Draven continued, louder, firmer, deadlier. Ray is mine, under my protection, under my command, and under my claim. The soldiers erupted into stunned whispers. I died internally. My ghost died too. I hissed up at him, Sir, you can't just claim people in public. That's embarrassing. He didn't even look at me. Good. Good? He glanced down, eyes hot and terrifyingly tender. I want everyone to know. Somewhere in the crowd, someone whispered, The general is in love. I wanted to sink into the earth. The messenger spluttered, You cannot supersede a royal order. Draven's voice cut the air like a blade. Anyone who touches him answers to me. The crowd shivered. I pinched his sleeve, whispering furiously, Why are you like this? His lips tilted. You asked me not to return you. I didn't say it out loud. You didn't need to. I internally combusted. The messenger, now sweating buckets, spun around. I will return with a response from the council. He practically sprinted out of camp. Draven finally faced me. Everyone watched. I wanted to crawl into a bucket. You didn't have to do that, I whispered. He looked at me like I had personally insulted gravity. I would declare it 1,000 times, Ray. Ugh, why is he like this? Hours later, when my embarrassment level dropped from I will die now to I might live with minimal therapy, Draven found me sitting alone behind the supply tent. He approached quietly, which was rude because my heart did not need jump scares. He sat beside me without asking. Ray. What? I muttered. Here to claim me again? Maybe tattoo your name on my forehead? He didn't laugh. Instead, he reached out, slowly, gently, cupping my face with both hands. My breath caught. His thumbs brushed my cheeks like I was fragile glass he hated to handle roughly. His voice was soft. Too soft. Dangerously soft. I loved you the moment you stepped into my tent. I stared at him like he'd grown 3 heads. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. You literally threatened to kill me. I threatened to kill everyone else. Oh! He huffed a breath, half laugh, half exasperation. Even your sarcasm felt like home, he whispered. Even your fear, even your stubbornness, everything about you felt right. My face, already warm, went volcanic. Stop saying perfect things, I mumbled, hiding behind my hands. I'm weak. He gently pulled my hands away. Ray. His voice dropped to a low, intimate rumble. I will never let them take you. Never. My chest squeezed painfully, like someone had stuffed emotions into it without permission. And I will never regret choosing you, he added. My throat tightened, my brain melted, my soul left my body. I whispered, barely audible. Why me? His forehead rested against mine. Because I saw you, and I chose you, and I will keep choosing you. Oh no. My heart did something deeply stupid. When the sun started to set, painting the sky in ridiculous romantic colors that did not help my emotional stability, Draven asked quietly, What do you want to do? I stared at the horizon, at the smoke, at the camp, at him, me, the unwanted kid, the disposable one, the side piece of fate. Someone actually wanted me to choose, not out of duty, not out of sacrifice, because I mattered. Draven waited silently. For once, I let myself breathe. I want to stay, I said finally, soft, quiet, true. Draven inhaled sharply, like my words punched through his ribs and into his heart. He didn't move at first. Then, slowly, he pulled me into his arms, strong, warm, careful. You took your brother's place, he murmured into my hair. Now take your place beside me. I closed my eyes, let myself lean into him. Fine, I whispered, but I want breakfast privileges. He laughed, an actual laugh, and kissed my temple. You can have anything. Good, I said, sniffling, because I want 2 blankets also. His arms tightened. You'll sleep beside me. You won't need blankets. My face flamed. Sir, that was illegal flirting. He smiled into my hair. No, that was a promise. And for the first time in my entire disaster life, I believed him.